The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, besides the bounce and up 22 points on the S&P cash, Dow up 180, NASDAQ up 52, and the Russell up a little over 9. So the first thing we want to check in and see how volume is doing today. And a little over 7 billion shares yesterday. We're doing about 3.3 billion shares so far. Let me update that. Excuse me, 3.9 billion shares. It was updating at the time I was looking at it. So volume is going to probably be in line with what it had yesterday. Is it blowout? No. Is it enough? It still looks like we're probably in a trading range. After the bell is probably the most important thing that we're waiting for now. Price for perfection. We were buying the 220 calls back when NVIDIA was at 211. We got out too early. Still made some good money on it. But at 420, their earnings come out. So it's a little after the 14:15 or the 4:15 close for that session on the futures. Also have a Yelp after the bell tonight. Symantec, Kulik and Safa. Anything else out here that really could move anything? I think that's it. I think we got the NASDAQ. It's probably going to move on NVIDIA. It's pretty much priced for perfection. The question is, do they deliver perfection? We have maybe a little hint from last night that we'll talk about. A handful of other things. Of course, then we get into, what is it, tomorrow morning. Is there anything out there? There's just not a lot going on. Friday, not much. Agilent Technologies after the bell on Monday. So that's a little in biotech land. I don't see much else going on there. Tuesday, start to wrap up all of earnings. There's not much, but this one's Home Depot. That's before the bell on Tuesday. And let's see if there's anything else out here. Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. And that's it. So, we get into those, you get into expiration, and that's about it. There's just not a lot left on the big time calendar for earnings. And I don't know. That's about all I have to say about that. So what else is going on? Well, like I said, waiting for perfection for after the bell. Handful of earnings. That's about it until we get into next week. Maybe some numbers in the morning, but I doubt that we're going to have anything that moves the market that is in that. If the market moves, it's going to be moving because it feels like it. But, let's get into some history, talk a little news, talk a little cock-a-doodle-doo, and then we'll move on to some charts.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1869, the President of the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Roads meet in Promontory, Utah, drive a ceremonial last spike into the rail line that connects the railroads. This made the Transcontinental Railroad travel possible for the first time in U.S. history. No longer would western-bound travelers need to take the long and dangerous journey by wagon train in the West could surely lose some of its wild charms and bypasses of the new connection to the civilized East. And, you know what? I took a journey that was about 3 months of internal pain, turned it into about a 5-day ride across a beautiful country. Not much out there, but started to see little towns pop up left and right. Of course, this was the tech boom of their time. This was the technology that's the equivalent of space flight for us. I don't know if there's a lot more you can say about it other than that. The stocks were just like trading tech stocks. These things moved around wildly, up and down. And, of course, in the biggest blowout of all time in the about 1902 to 1907, led to the biggest court cases about travel in general and the busting up of monopolies. And we hear from day to day about things like what's that drug company? I just brought up the name of it yesterday, where we've got the two guys fighting over it, long and short. Well, this was like a daily basis. The only people that had money were the people that were in the railroads or steel, and they were all trying to beat each other over the head to take the money that the other people had. Well, what is it? Trying to think of it. It's not the drug. It's vitamin company. I'll think about it. Anyway, on this day in 1869, we're going to go ahead and talk about one news story which I thought was interesting. XA Equitable went out today. It is now trading. I didn't see the last print on this. Up 29 cents, not trading very much. Priced way below what they thought. It came in $1 billion shorter than they thought. Still the biggest U.S. IPO of the year so far. They did get it out, and it's not uncommon to see a market being pushed up into big IPOs because guess what? You got to have a willing public, and this certainly get it. The symbol is EQH. This is the French insurer, and I think the hurricane hit them a little bit because they were underwriting some of what was going on over here in the United States. I think it actually delayed this thing by about 6 months. They cleaned up their books, got it out the door, and that's about it. So when we come back, we'll start looking at some charts. You've got plenty of times to give me. Yeah, Nutrisystems. I just couldn't think of it at the moment. But, yeah, Nutrisystems, and you got two big bulls on the street, and they were both fighting long and short over the thing. And what can you say? One lost, one gained. But I don't think much of the company. But at the same time, you never wanted to be in a position where someone can just stick it to you. And certainly, if you're too short, that can happen to you. When we come back, we're going to talk to you about our trade, which we exited today in the Tech Insider. And we'll be talking a bit more on the webinar coming up next Wednesday night about how to trade options. But here's a trade that we made without options, but still made a gob of money on. And we'll talk about why when we return. Another action-packed edition of the Power Trading Hour. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Technomental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Well, whether you're trading options or not, just trading the equities, some of the things we're going to be talking about in the webinar is how to gain an advantage. We exited a trade we started Thursday in the Tech Insider. We bought 3D Systems, which is DDD is the symbol, in the low 9s last Thursday. Exited it today for an ungodly amount of money. And even today got a little bit more even after we sold. They came out with a big contract with the Navy. But I like the way this thing was testing it, although volume came in later in the day. That came in on the way back up. Volume was going to be about a fourth or a half on that test of last Thursday, so it looked like a good time to buy it. Now, one of the other things that I probably should have told traders and didn't before we got into this thing was that these guys had almost 24 days to cover short. It was like 35% of the shares. Volume hadn't been all that big. This thing was actually coming back into a fairly decent test. Anyway, we bought it in the low 9s, sold it in the 12s today. But the key to this trade wasn't just being successful, just wasn't buying the lows. It was the fact that if it did go up, there were a lot of people on the wrong side of that. And a lot what we're going to cover next Wednesday is how to know when the shorts are basically have their backs to the wall, and you just can't really short things anymore. Or if at least the trade goes your way, you're going to get the kind of huge move that you need to put on trades that are maybe just a little bit more risky than a lot of people would love to take. And, you know, did I know this thing was instantly going to rip up to these levels? The answer is no. But what I did know was options were already telling us that this thing was going to go up to about 1250. I put out a special report yesterday and showed those charts in it. We're going to go through those again on that webinar. But before you go long or short anything, you know what? go to the Wall Street Journal page and just check out what these guys have and what their short interests have been. We're going to talk about a concept that I call dead reckoning in the webinar. But if the best way to describe this is if you were learning to fly before GPS and you knew exactly where you were at, you'd get a weather report, and the weather report would tell you which way the wind's blowing and how hard it's blowing, and you'd start flying. And you'd say, okay, I know when I'm going to get to this city, I'm going to see a water tower, and that water tower should be, maybe a mile off my left wingtip. And you get there, and you either fly right over the water tower, or maybe maybe it's off the right wing of the water tower, and you go, you know what? That weather report, the winds, maybe they were a little stronger. Maybe they were from a little direction. I'm going to add that in to what I'm doing and start and say, you know what? That wind was actually blowing a little faster, or it was blowing a little bit more from the east, and you'll continue to move on. There's a way to actually do that with short positions. And what the current short position is. We're going to talk about that. One of the worst parts of trying to figure out how short a stock is pretty much everything you're looking at is about 2 weeks in the rearview mirror. You get bi-monthly reports that actually tell you what's going on from the exchanges themselves, but those reports come out, and if you're willing to pay $3,000 a month, you get to see them a couple of days earlier than the rest of us. Poor slobs. But guess what? There is a way around that, and we'll talk about that and how you can kind of say, you know what? I can see what's going on a daily basis. It's not written in stone, but you know what? I can get a pretty good feel about the way things are going by just looking at this data. We'll tell you where to get it, where to check, where to find stuff. Put some links in this morning's newsletter to start showing where to find highly shorted stocks and those with the most days to cover out there. So anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or put a message in the den. So the first email of the day, oh boy, can't you smell that? It's very good. Very good smelling email. This email asked me what I'm thinking that's going to happen. Well, I need confirmation today, but if we get it after the bell tonight, it looks very much like we've got kind of the same setup that we had for last options expiration. That is that we got up into this area, and then the market kind of turned down for expiration week. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. The volume's not that great, but it's not so weak that I'd pull the trigger right now. But I do suspect that maybe some of the stronger sectors out here could be seeing a high, especially in the energy sectors. Now, maybe that's tomorrow or maybe it's Monday, but it certainly kind of feels like we've just got a couple of days away. Another thought is that we see the bell rung for the highs with NVIDIA's earnings after the bell and tomorrow morning. And at some point, it's as good as it's going to get. I don't understand buying into earnings today for NVIDIA, but we were talking about another company that came out that's in that same vein, and that's HEAR, H-E-A-R, Turtle Beach Company. This company had a monster move out here, got up to $13.88. Another good thing to do is know how short a stock is, because this one had a fairly decent short interest in it, and they just ran these guys back up to $13.88 today. I think that's a real tick up there, by the way. Now, these guys make headsets and headphones with boom mics on it for gamers. And coming ahead, one day ahead of NVIDIA probably tells you that the gaming business is pretty good. NVIDIA has a 1-2 punch with not only the gamers, but making a ton of money right now, making cards for machine learning. In fact, they've got one card that's almost 10 grand, but it replaces a whole bunch of other cards. So the people in these data centers are more than willing to buy these cards at next to 10 grand, and they're renting the servers with these cards in them for about $100. So 9 hours, you got $900, 100 hours of rental, and you've paid for the card. It's not a bad deal. You still need to buy the servers and everything, but if you had an existing server, not a bad deal. Anyway, Turtle Beach may be the omen out here. The things are about as good as they can get, and you've always got to have somebody that's willing to buy at a higher price to get your stock going. Like I said, I loved NVIDIA when we bought the calls in VDA at whatever it is, 211, 214, something like that. Yeah, it got down to 210.30 on April 25th. We were buying down in that spike and bought the calls. Didn't hold on to them as long as I should have. Volume was kind of opaque. Didn't want to hang on through the Iranian deal on Tuesday. Probably should have. But now we're back up to highs. You needed 22 million shares. Yesterday you got 14. Today we've got 13. So up to highs, a little lighter volume. It's all going to be about these earnings. Energy up actually was okay. Be back.
Are you an options trader that's looking for that extra edge when placing trades? David White will be hosting a webinar on May 16th, which is the Wednesday leading up to Options Expiration Friday in May, where he'll discuss in depth the methodology he uses for trading options near expiration, including swing trading setups and expiration day trading scenarios. Subscribers to each of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and the Technology Insider, gain access to this 60-minute webinar, which will be archived if you cannot attend live. Dave has had some great option trades recently for his subscribers. See for yourself the trading methodology he uses when trading options by signing up today for either of his newsletters, and we'll see you Wednesday, May 16th at 5 p.m. for option trading near expiration, analyzing swing trades and expiration day scenarios. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
James wanted to know, just emailed me, wanted to take a look at this 3D systems options expiration chart I sent out to my subscribers yesterday morning. Anyway, this is basically what it looks like. You just add all the money up and down on the puts and calls and find out where X hits the magic spot. There's a lot more to it, and we're going to cover a little bit more of this in the webinar. But a very oversimplified version of this is just that. Anyway, it was already pointing last week back up into the 12s. The setup was right. And there's a few more things. You can't see them in there. They're just little ticks in these things that actually do mean something, at least to me. So we'll talk about that. But basically, you can see that over 13, this kind of starts heading up a little bit. That's kind of on the upside. 13 is going to be tough to get past. And below 12, you've got kind of the same thing, a little tick up. Now, this isn't a real big stock like NVIDIA or some of these others, so a little tougher to see in this. But you put the whole thing together, it works. Now, if you do want to have me go through your stock tomorrow with options expiration charts like this, please email me in advance tonight so I can download the data of your particular stock. I don't get all of them. I just get the ones that I'm looking at. But you can certainly do that. And just send it to Path, that's P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. So what else is going on? We want to look at a few other stocks. We're looking at NVIDIA, like I said, up here, lighter volume, but earnings out after the bell. Energy is about the same up as it is on the way down. The question is, you know, after a run from 210 bucks to 260 bucks, a run of 50 bucks, what do you think on this? I always thought that it was going to outperform. I talked about, I think on the Tech Insider segment with Tom O'Brien, that this thing was going to do better. And one of the reasons why is that you couldn't buy a card for a number of weeks. They literally couldn't make them fast enough. And that's always a problem if you want to short or you're thinking short in a sector. And that is one of the reasons why we were, when we thought we got a gift down there, that we went ahead and bought the calls on this thing. But certainly you're back up here on the high side. The question is it just set for perfection? And will, during the earnings call tonight, will they say, you know what, we just had an anomalous huge amount because this game came out and everybody wanted to buy our cards or had to buy our cards, or, you know, we were busy making these $9,000 cards and neglected the less expensive cards. So it's a lot's going to be, I think, on what these guys say the future is of this. Now, still nobody's really come along to challenge these guys. I thought that we'd see a lot of people getting a little better. Now, AMD, a lot of people put their money behind that. The problem with AMD, it is neither NVIDIA in video cards, nor is it Intel in servers. It is kind of the second run on both sides, the video cards and the processor side itself. AMD is still an okay company. I'm just saying that, you know, when you look at AMD and then you look at NVIDIA, you know, the only thing that NVIDIA did was, AMD did was not go bankrupt at the bottom. And they had kind of a nice bounce, but it's nothing like the real money that NVIDIA is making on video cards. And then you look at Intel, who still owns 98% of the server market. It's just very tough to go up against any of those two companies. I'm just wondering what eventually happens to it. Intel, when we're looking at that, had a big down day. That was on 70 million shares back on the 27th. Today, we're up on about 10 or 11 million shares. Like I said, I think we're kind of up here. I'm not expecting the wheels to fall off the wagon in the market, but, you know, we get one more good data point in the way options move for me, and I'm going to start thinking that 2650 to 2670 area is exactly where we're going to expire come a week from tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that. Yeah, Electronic Arts is up to everybody. They actually missed, which was kind of interesting. but talked up everything about how things were going. And I was looking at this as a possible short, as it is now going above its 131 high of January 31st and March 16th. You needed about 15 million shares. Yesterday you had 7.5 million shares. Today you got about 2.5 million shares. And I would have liked it if the energy on this upside was a little less. But again, I think a lot of people got short early in this market, and you might get 1 or 2 or 3 more days out here for Electronic Arts that it holds higher. But any close below 131 on Electronic Arts, and I think that could take you back down to 125. So again, these things are not going to blow up, but you know, if you could get 130 puts today and it went to 125, you're probably talking about a 500% move in options. I haven't looked at the options on this yet, but there's a handful of stocks that I'm looking at that are kind of set up like this, that they've broken a little higher. And if NVIDIA just kind of hangs up there at the highs the next day or so, I could see that, you know, we'd start seeing maybe some people start taking some money. So, you know, we may have some more action. Again, I'm not predicting the end of the world next week, only, you know, maybe a little bit of a pullback, and then maybe we get another push back into Memorial Day weekend, and it gets us back up to these highs once again, and it's on light volume. And at that point, I still think that around that 28th mark might be the time to start picking off shorts on individual stocks. We're probably going to have some fun buying after that. So you may see the index holds up for a few days, and then you start turning down in June. But we'll see. That's my scenario, at least for the moment. But as all things, it is subject to revision. Take a look at USO. I think last Friday we were talking to a caller. I don't remember who it was. And I said, man, I think you're just a little early in this. And see, this is Mark wanted to look at USO. I don't, you know, I'm looking at a lot of stocks in this sector and the way these things are moving, and it just looks like whatever's going to happen next week isn't going to live up to the hype for world instability. And I think this is what could bring the market back down fairly quickly. I think we could see a lot of this stuff tamped out after the first few rockets shot at each other, and we could easily see crude get back down to 65 maybe by the end of next week. Be watching those Baker Hughes oil rig numbers tomorrow at 1 o'clock very close. Anyway, I think we're fairly close to at least a short-term top in oil, but we'll see tomorrow. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the Taz Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we'll look at OIH, just like the USO. Same kind of thing, same kind of pattern out here. Energy off this low was not all that exciting, the April 2nd low. You did test the previous low, though, on half the volume, so you had a good run there. You just never really had the energy on the way back up, and I think that tells it all. You're going to get into this, well, you might get into this high at here on 29.53. Friday, always a good day to take a look. You're either going to see everybody piling into gold or crude tomorrow. My guess is crude, and that may be, again, just like NVIDIA, may be a place to look for a top tick in all of this. Like I said, Baker Hughes numbers come out at 1. If we get 20 rigs tomorrow, then I'm going to tell you that oil prices have probably hit a high. And I think we got 10 last week for North America. You get 20 this week, which I wouldn't be surprised with all the brouhaha of higher prices to see that everybody's out there trying to milk caribou and elk for a little bit of crude up there, especially in Alaska. I think we're about ready to start seeing some of that new Alaska oil flow, too. I'm going to have to check on that. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, I want to look at some other ones that I had been looking at. There's something else out here. Someone brought up EA. It's actually on my list of stocks. We talked about that. I don't think there's anything new. Even horrible stocks can bottom. GNC, as we were talking about these Herbalife, kind of done better at the expense of GNC. GNC had two horrible things against it. First, it was in shopping malls, and second, the FTC changed the rules about how they could advertise. They couldn't use celebrities anymore, and that really hurt. Kind of imagine what Weight Watchers would be without what's her doodle that hasn't apparently lost any weight, but doesn't seem to matter for Weight Watchers. But you had $3.13 on GNC, which is the December 28th low, with 7.5 million shares. Got into it with 5 million shares just yesterday, just hanging out here. And, you know, for a dollar stock out here that maybe could go to $4, that's 25%. If you could just get back into the candle at $4.50, you know, that's a 50% trade. I don't see anything that says buy this yet. You got light volume today. But, you know, it wouldn't be beyond the scope of reason, like someone just brought up that HEAR was like a $2 stock not that long ago, and now it's printing 13 bucks. You can find a lot of these stocks that are out here. I'm kind of a little bearish on a lot of these big name stocks for the next week or so, thinking that maybe just all the good news is kind of in. I'm not expecting them to go back to zero, but you know, it is kind of that tough part of the market. See what else I had out here I wanted to talk about. I've got a couple of emails that I need to get to. See if I've got them here. Do I have them? Okay. Maybe in here? Trying to find something here, so just give me a second. Not great radio, but maybe I can find it here. Oh boy, I can't. Anyway, we'll just go ahead to it. Questions about Tesla. Doesn't seem to be that affected by roasting yet another customer or a car. Was it a person in that car that got roasted, or was it just the car? I haven't been able to dig through the news yet. One of the issues for Tesla, of course, is that when you get chemical batteries that start fire, not an easy way to put them out. Water just makes it worse. Lithium and water, not a good combination. So what do? And if you discharge the batteries fast enough, they'll catch fire. If you don't discharge them fast enough, they'll continue to burn. A lot of things out here. Anyway, I don't see, someone asked me also if they want to see what Tesla looks like for options expiration. And, they just really, no one wants to, I mean, there's some puts on this thing. There's really not. I'll go through this tomorrow because I want to get this cleaned up and looked at the last few days. But it kind of looks like 300 is the very end that you're going to see on the bottom of this for the next week. Even if the market starts to pull back, this looks like it's got just far too many people and it's short. So let's take a look. As we said, the bi-monthly the bi-monthly short figures come out twice a month. They actually came out last night, so we got a better read. But you got 7 days to cover right now in Tesla. And just think what it would be like in the next 7 days just to do average volume, and the stock only have shorts covering. That continues to be the problem. It's 31.1% short, but volume has really started to decline over these last 30 days. You get, one good day with some volume out here, which was what, May 3rd, and that's about it. So, and when you look at this, in fact, I'll show it tomorrow. I just need to make sure that I don't want to show something that may not be absolutely perfect. But that's it. Okay, what else do we want to take a look at on my list? We looked at NVIDIA. Another one that might be topping out, keeping an eye on Wayfair. This is an interesting stock. Another one that probably has massive shorts in it. Let's take a quick look. I think it's close. 8 days to cover on this one. So a lot of these stocks looking fairly weak, but guess what? They got so many shorts in them already. You got to get those guys out of the way before these things can fall again. And that's the problem. If everybody knows the stock stinks, unfortunately they all pile in. And guess what? You get something like a DDD, or somebody like me comes along, helps the little short squeeze get started, and we walk away with our bags full of money. And if you were short, you would not like that. Anyway, these things probably going a little higher, and that's just on having far too many people short a stock and being on the wrong side. These things take a while to burn off. I think Citron is the big axe on this one. They wrote a fairly decent article that I agree with, and I was long at the time on it. But this one's got a lot of problems, but it doesn't matter. You got 27% short interest in it.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Are you an options trader that's looking for that extra edge when placing trades? David White will be hosting a webinar on May 16th, which is the Wednesday leading up to options expiration Friday in May, where he'll discuss in depth the methodology he uses for trading options near expiration, including swing trading setups and expiration day trading scenarios. Subscribers to each of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and the Technology Insider, gain access to this 60-minute webinar, which will be archived if you cannot attend live. Dave has had some great option trades recently for his subscribers. See for yourself the trading methodology he uses when trading options by signing up today for either of his newsletters, and we'll see you Wednesday, May 16th at 5 p.m. for option trading near expiration, analyzing swing trades and expiration day scenarios. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Now, did I get that? Let's play it again. Yes, it's very hot if you're driving a Tesla and down in Florida. So, yeah, you pretty much look at these things. I think Tesla's going to hold $300 for the next week. Just need to, there's a lot of stocks out here and everybody's short to the gills. So you got to watch those. Even if the market pulls back, you're probably not going to get much of a pullback in that. So you kind of want to keep an eye on it. And eventually, one day, everybody will get bored with being short. They'll get off of it and it will start moving down. Got a question here to finish the show up on the IBB. And it's just, man, talk about something doing nothing. it doesn't have any energy on the way down, doesn't have any energy on the way up. And you got a slightly higher low here on May 3rd than you had on April 6th, but nothing to write home about. You do have a light volume down there. You just don't have any energy when it comes to buying anything on the upside. And that is kind of kept me out of this. It would look better long term. It's just I don't understand that you don't have any energy in this thing whatsoever. I think it's going to outperform the market by the end of the year. The question is just when does money start flowing back into the sector? It may be as soon as maybe the semis hit a high, and maybe that's after the bell of the night on NVIDIA. Hard to tell. Anyway, got Tom O'Brien and Andy Heck today since it is Thursday, and they'll wrap up the night. A lot of, at least some decent earnings out after the bell in the 4 o'clock hour with Tom O'Brien, so do that. In the meantime, start selling while you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.